So today I want to introduce you to the new king of the NBA, Kawhi Leonard. Yes, y'all. Kawhi Leonard has finally won the 2019 NBA championship against the legendary Golden State Warriors. So today we're going to get into how he did it and what this means for his legacy moving forward. I want to welcome you to the channel, Dreamers Pro. Let's get into it. As I said, Kawhi Leonard is now the new king of the NBA. Now, I remember a few months ago when the playoffs first started, I made a prediction saying that the Toronto Raptors were going to go to the finals. Kawhi Leonard was going to win the NBA championship and be the NBA Finals MVP, and all of those things happened just as I predicted because I believe that the Toronto Raptors were the best team in the league. Now, a lot of people overlook them because of their record being that they had the second best record in the East, and they said, well, you know, Kawhi Leonard missed a lot of games. He missed about 20 games during the season, so it was like there's no way that this team could be the best team. Well, you have to understand, if their best player missed 20 games and they still ended up being the second seed, the number 2 seed, what would have happened if he actually played all of those games? And that's what you saw in the playoffs. That was the difference. That's what happened to Milwaukee. Milwaukee was supposed to be the best team in the league, but Kawhi went in there and just really gave it to them. You know, he beat the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games, where a lot of people had the Bucks after game 1, winning game 1, having them sweeping the Raptors throughout the series, but Kawhi Leonard didn't let it happen. But let's talk about what actually happened in the NBA Finals. Now, going into the Finals, you know, a lot of people were speculating on whether or not Kevin Durant would play because he was the wild card. Because if Kevin Durant played, it would definitely tip, you know, the favor, it would tip the scales in the favor of the Golden State Warriors. But since he didn't play, it kind of leveled the playing field. But yet and still, a lot of people were still picking, you know, the Golden State Warriors, with the exception of a few people like Jalen Rose and Max from ESPN First Take. But that's not my point. You know, even me, I actually also believe that, you know, the Raptors could win the whole thing because, as I said, Kawhi Leonard was the best player on the floor. A lot of people were not giving him credit because he was injured last year, and they didn't really get a chance to see him play, and he wasn't really, you know, as dynamic as he used to be in the past this season. But yet and still, he came through in a lot of clutch situations and really helped his team out. I mean, go ask the Philadelphia 76ers how clutch Kawhi Leonard is. But if you've been watching these finals, you'll see that it's really been sort of, you know, it's been tipping in one direction and going back in the other direction. Now, what happened is, after the Toronto Raptors won game 1 in Toronto, and they lost game 2, I know a lot of people were like, yep, you see the Golden State Warriors, the championship pedigree, they have them, they're gonna get them when they got to Golden State. But I remember them asking Kawhi Leonard, they say, hey man, now that you're going to Golden State, what are you looking to do? I'm sure you just want to get a split. And he was like, F that, I want to make sure we win both games. And that's exactly what the Toronto Raptors did. He went there and he snatched the hearts right out of the Golden State Warriors fans and public, and he, you know, and he delivered. Now, I know that he lost game 5 with the return of Kevin Durant, and I just want to say, as an NBA fan, as a basketball fan, I was deeply hurt by what happened to Kevin Durant, because although I was rooting for the Raptors and I want to see them win, I was definitely not happy watching Kevin Durant go down with an Achilles a tear, whatever it is that they're saying. You know, I just really think, you know, it's not good for the game to lose probably one of the best players that it has, to go down to an injury like that. I remember when it happened to Kobe, and Kobe Bryant was my favorite basketball player of all time, and I remember how that crushed me. So I know a lot of Kevin Durant fans out there are really reeling from what happened to him. So my thoughts and prayers go out to Kevin Durant and his family. But back to what I was saying, you know, Kawhi Leonard now, you have to be asking yourself, well, where does Kawhi Leonard rank in the pecking order of the NBA? Is he the best player? Where is he number 2? Is he number 3? Well, in my opinion, he's number 1. LeBron James didn't get a chance to play in these NBA playoffs. If he did, things might have been different, and I think it would have been a lot different if he was probably in the East. But this year, he didn't play. Kawhi Leonard did, and he dominated the Eastern Conference. Although they beat the Philadelphia 76ers the way they did in game 7, he still dominated that series as well. He dominated Giannis, and then he got to the finals, and he's been dominating since. Now, yes, I know a lot of his shooting percentages have gone down, but that's actually natural. If you watch a lot of great basketball players, as they progress through the playoffs, their shooting percentages start to go down because they're gonna get more tired, and they're playing better teams with better defensive schemes and all these different things. But yet and still, he is, you know, an NBA champion and the NBA Finals MVP, as I predicted. And I think moving forward, he's going to be the new king of the NBA. Now, a lot of people may say, hold up, you know, Kawhi Leonard doesn't really have the personality, you know, to really, you know, carry the league. Well, guess what? it's a new day. There's a new thing. It's not everyone that has to have a bubbly personality and has to be really cheerful and smiling all the time. Sometimes people just like someone that's humble. And you're seeing that he's not a braggadocious person. You know, he just goes about doing his business, just getting buckets and putting it on dudes every single night. And that's what's been happening. I think a lot of people have been able to really resonate with that type of person. It's refreshing to see a superstar as rich as he is, as famous as he is, as successful as he is, to be so down to earth. I think a lot of people are really, you know, keying in on Kawhi and saying, hey, you know what? He's redefining how a superstar can behave. You don't have to be as braggadocious and out there and flashy. You can just be yourself. You can be a cool dude. You can show up to the game wearing a t-shirt and some jeans or some sweats. You don't have to have on jewelry and be all of this and show how much money you have and do all of that different stuff. He just goes about being himself. And I think that really aided him. Another thing I believe is that I don't think he'll be fazed by this championship, because Kawhi Leonard has said that he wants to be one of the greatest players of all time. So if he stays in Toronto, I believe they're going to have a good chance to keep winning. And you may see a similar situation like what Michael Jordan did with the Bulls by building a dynasty in Chicago. That may be the same thing that may happen with the Toronto Raptors. I won't go that far, but that's my feeling. But I just wanted to congratulate the Toronto Raptors and congratulate Kawhi Leonard for winning the NBA championship. So if you're a Kawhi Leonard fan, make sure you definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below what you thought of how his performance was in the NBA Finals and what you think is going to come from the Toronto Raptors, and if you think Kawhi Leonard is going to lead the Toronto Raptors going on to next season. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Charles here. Peace.